2:30. Full screen this bad boy. And what's up? What's up? Here we go. Here we go. The Revolutionary. The only one who posed the threat to the almighty Duke in the industrial complex. Cool panel. A legend and the hope of the citizens, as well a source of their despair. Now, I think they said that the title of the Revolutionary passes around every 30 days, correct? So every 30 days, how I was understanding it is every 30 days, whoever, so I'm the Revolutionary for the next 30 days. And then after the 30 days is up, then Barry becomes a Revolutionary for 30 days. And that's how I was understanding it. And then after Barry, it's Michael. And after Michael, it's 20T. That's how I was assuming it. Every 30 days it would change. I could be wrong, but that's how I understood it. Let me start again. The Revolutionary. The only one who posed the threat to the almighty Duke in the industrial complex. A legend and the hope of the citizens, as well a source of their despair. Why are you so surprised? Weren't you looking for the Revolutionary? You are not the Revolutionary. I'm currently in exile outside of a scenario. There was simply no way someone without a scenario could become the Revolutionary, the center of the Demon Realm's main scenario. At least that's how it should be. Ooh. Your declaration has affected the main scenario of the Siswitz industrial complex. Gilobat's here, right? I couldn't remember their name last week. But the most important thing to the star stream is probability. You're the Revolutionary? Yes, I am. Why would you reveal yourself? Because if I didn't come forward, someone else would die. That's right. The executioner wouldn't leave wouldn't leave until someone died. Didn't have to be the Revolutionary, but someone had to die. Because if I didn't come forward, someone else would die. It's about time for the effect to come into play. Many citizens admire your bravery. Good. The effect. What did you feed him? Your noble courage affects the development of the scenario. You're now able to greatly affect the scenario. This is nuts. The scenario assigns you a temporary position. You're the self-proclaimed revolutionary. If the original revolutionary dies, you will succeed that title. You have obtained the hidden scenario, the self-proclaimed revolutionary. Only this guy. Only this guy. It may just be a limited hidden scenario instead of the main scenario. But at least it should make it easier to hold out here for a while. Wait just 1 minute. Are you really the revolutionary? Hey! Uh-oh. Where's the music? Pissing me off. The Siswitz executioner put the mark of death on you. Another one of these grisly markers that are going to be hovering over him. It's not the first time he's gotten something like this. Right? It's not the first time the boy's been marked. You are named the Night Sacrifice. Get out, everyone. Everyone's screaming. Oh my goodness. Executioner is so dope. Do you guys hear music? Because I don't hear a damn thing. I don't hear anything. I hear nothing. Executioner is so cool. Lands on the table. Yes, that I think this is stay alive until it's not night anymore. What would be crazy is if like time went into like a stasis. That would be crazy if time went into a stasis. Like since he's marked someone for death, like time just stops until that person dies. You can't wait it out until morning. That would have all your bases covered, but I don't know if you'd be able to do that. Revolutionary. Whew. The exile penalty is partially alleviated. How? Let me go back up to this. I was gonna say, does it look a little different? It doesn't. It's amazing how much more alive I feel now that I'm in a story, even if it's a hidden scenario rather than the main one. This space is temporarily shut down. You cannot escape from the bar. What time is it? What time is it? No citizen can stand up to the executioner. His special skill, execution, disregards all his opponent's defenses and delivers a death blow. The execution, will now be carried out. Dodge, you fool! No matter how strong the citizen, they can't block the executioner's scythe in this scenario. I literally was gonna be like, Dokja's different. But clashing with a scythe is crazy. Sorry, I'm not a citizen. You are not part of the main scenario. You are not a citizen. Like, he's different. Right? It's like he's different. He's not a citizen of this place. He is in exile. But he has a temporary, a temporary title. The self-proclaimed revolutionary. So if the revolutionary does die, I don't know if it makes him a citizen. I don't think it makes him a citizen. He still will be in exile, but now he is a part of the scenario. He's a part of a scenario, not the scenario. Say that. He wasn't in anything before this. You're not part of the main scenario. You're not a citizen. You are in exile. You are not affected by this scenario's execution effect. Execution's deadly effect is neutralized. Now we're just gonna are we in a slug out fight with the executioner? I told you I'm the revolutionary. He endured the executioner's blow. Are you really the revolutionary? Your contribution to the scenario increases. You insolent. Don't mess with me. I know you're only strong at night. What? Once this night's over, you're dead. Because I'm going to kill you. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Is he going to have the executioner tuck tail and run? That'll be a sight to see. Is he going to have him fake revolutionary chapter 38, part 1? Pacing back and forth. He's going to make the executioner tuck tail and run? Demon Count Psylocke. Demon Count Han. I have an important message for the Duke. Tell me. I will pass it on to him. I'm afraid I can't do that. The Duke is currently in an emergency meeting with the Gillabat envoy. When will it end? I don't know. Darn. If I tell him, he'll take credit for it. I don't like him, but it won't be wise to cross him. He may be a count just like me, but he has a connection to the 32nd Demon King, the god of wrath and lust. It's fine. It's not urgent, so I can just wait. Keep wondering, you jerk. I'm not sure about it anyways. Excuse me. What are you guys saying? That does make it. We'll talk about it. If I report I came across a demon noble assumed to be a Marquis of Gilead, it may not seem like a big deal. Is the Marquis of Gilead inside as well? He is. I suppose he came straight here then. Well, it is an important matter. So it's just as I thought. There's no way the Gilead envoy brought 2 Marquises. My report is worth giving after all. That means it's very likely that guy's posing to be a demon noble. I didn't read that right. That means it's very likely that guy posing to be a demon noble isn't actually a Marquis of Gilead. I like this panel of Dokja. He's really going toe to toe with the executioner. And Dokja's he's like his fighting isn't like extravagant. He's not hopping around. He's not doing much. He's just playing keep away. I can't protect everyone, so get outside. Stick and move. You gotta stick and move. Getting serious. We're getting serious. Dog, if he punches a hole through the executioner, I'm gonna go crazy. if he goes straight through the executioner, I'm gonna go crazy. So far, if I'm not mistaken, there's only been one time in the series where he's used electrification and not killed someone. And that's when he attempted to use it against his mom. He technically didn't kill her. Fourth Wall did, but then Fourth Wall spit her back out. But it's only been once. Anytime he's used it, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he used it against Shang-Yak. But anytime he's used it, the person who he's used it against has died, besides his mom. Oh, he's not going to use it. Okay. I was babbling. If I would have just scrolled down. I choose bookmark number 4, Lycanon Esperang. Personal skill, the Way of the Wind, level 10+1, has been activated. It's been so long since he's used this, though. It's been a minute since he's used it. Goodness, boy. Ooh. Ooh. Your attack has no effect against your opponent. I was going to be like, oh, but nothing. No one can kill the executioner before night ends. Darn. Looks like attacks are useless after all. Too bad the transcendent Shang-Yak isn't here. But there's no one here. What do you mean, but there's no one here? Ugh. Oh, but there's no one here. Not Huang Zhang, the Judge of Evil. Not Hyung Sung Lee, the Blade of Steel. Not Jie Li, the Naval Commander. Not even my beloved kiddos Gil Young Lee or Yu Sung Shin are here. Oh, what's going on with his arm? As for Su Young Han, well, even if she were here, she probably wouldn't help. Your right arm shines with the light of the Sword Master. Cool. Pretty dope. Damn, what do we do? What did we just do? Your attack has no effect against your opponent. I didn't expect the story fragments to display this kind of strength. Then again, I only tore his clothes because the attack didn't work. Your incarnation is unstable from using an incomplete story. Your stories may be in danger if you continue fighting excessively. So it's like, relax, right? Telling you, relax a little bit. Drat, I'm feeling chilly again. Drat. I'd better avoid him as much as possible and buy some time. Until this godforsaken night comes to an end. Dog, the executioner's design is so crazy. Look at this. Look at that. Gosh, look at that. Oh my goodness, that's filthy. Every time. Blindsided every time. This panel's so sick, though. It's so sick. So sick. Yeah, they have been. They've been getting since Dokja bit the dust as the 73rd Demon King. The chapters have been short. They have been. Even around there, they still were fairly short, but they were short since then. They've been short. Ow. This art is insane. Okay, so there. What did I want to bring up? I was gonna bring something up and then I stopped. Let me scroll back in the chat to see if I can. It was I wonder if the more he interacts with the scenario, the less invulnerability he has. I'm not entirely too sure, because right now, since he's not in the main scenario, he's in the reset. Because of him not being from here, he's come here. He's in exile. Like, he's not a citizen of this realm. He's made his way in. He has all these different things that are working for him. He is. What's popping to my head? I'm not going to remember it. I'm not going to. But it's from a TV show or a movie that I've watched. He has everything, like all these different like titles that are working for him. Like, everything is seemingly falling in his favor. The question is, Dokja said that he's waiting for something to kick in. Waiting for some effect to kick in. I don't know what it was. But he mentioned that. When did he mention that? It was up here. Right? Wasn't it before they started? Okay. Right here. Oh, no. Did I go too far? Here. It's about time for the effect to come into play. I don't know what the effect was. Was the effect of him, the effect that he's talking about, was that the self-proclaimed revolutionary title kicking in for him? That's what I'm wondering, if that's what he's talking about, or if he's talking about or is he talking about something else that he set up in motion that hasn't kicked in just yet. I wonder about that. But right now he has all these different titles that are working for him. Plus his status as a constellation as well. We can't forget that as well. He still has all of his money. He still has all of his stories. He still has his influence. And right now, he hasn't been, I think the interesting thing to note is he hasn't been affected by his probability being too high. Because we know that if a being that was too powerful tried to meddle within the scenarios, like there would be a probability store and they would be affected. And you would have, in order to keep meddling, you would have to like go to like extreme demands in order to do it. But right now, because he's not in the main scenarios, like the like post Soul Dome, all that stuff, since he's not in like the main scenario, it feels like he just is able to use his probability, able to use his influence freely. He's able to use it. He has a drawback because he doesn't have his actual physical body. So like the different stories that he's had like comprising him are like they're like, because he's using them at such a high frequency or too powerful, however he's using them, it's not wise for him to keep doing it because he'll probably fall apart like he was before. But there's not a restriction probability wise. He's just able to use his probability, and probability is swinging the tides in his favor because he has it. I think that was the thing that was interesting, where it's like he's affecting the scenario. He's not a part of it. He's affecting it though. His probability is swinging it, and then he gets this hidden scenario. It's just like bending his way. It feels like, well, we'll see how, depending on how far he pushes, but we'll see if he does get hit with a probability storm of some sort coming up soon, or if he finds himself in some restriction that is not his actual body. So that I'm gonna keep my eye out. I want to keep my eye out for that moving forward, because the boy is just willy-nilly out here. He's in a place where he's in a place that he's not supposed to be in. He should have been dead a long time ago. He's masquerading as Young Yak. But it's like he has so many different, like he did not make it to his own 10th scenario. That's one. Right? He's playing by his own rules. That's a great way to put it. He did not make it to his own 10th scenario. Somehow in 9 scenarios, Dokja was able to become a constellation, create a nebula, defeat an outer world god, become a demon king, die as a demon king, then given the title Demon King of Salvation, has legendary stories, exiled from the scenarios, somehow is still alive outside the scenarios, is now found himself in a demon realm that technically shouldn't exist because there's only 72 demon kings. And now he's in this thing. Like, he's like, you start listing off all the crazy things, not even like going into detail, but just like the very, 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 very broad strokes. And it's just like, goodness gracious. Like, how are you able to get away with all this? It's crazy. But then again, I would love to know what other exiles look like. Like, what does another exile look like? I'm pretty sure they're not Dokja, but what does it take for you to be an exile? How the hell would you even make your way into being an exile if you didn't go through what Dokja went through? Still afraid of one thing: when Dokja's survival becomes known, not if but when, I'm afraid the nebulas from before will immediately try to kill him again. What has to be noted is they spent extreme amount of probability in order to kill him that first time, or in order to kill the 73rd Demon King to set up that scenario so that he would die. No. It's so, would they just, okay, so let's say Dokja doesn't take too much more time, where a ton of time passes. If he pops back into the story, would they be able to, without actually sacrificing themselves or dying in the process or making themselves vulnerable? Would they be able to? Because after all this, I'm pretty sure Dokja's going to level up once again. He's not going to come back to his main scenario weak. He's definitely going to level up from this. So, can they? Can they go after him again? That's what I want to know. Can they go after him? One thing to remember, piggybacking off of what you just said, was the Starstream did notice Dokja. I don't want to forget this. The Starstream did notice him, but chose to ignore him as he popped into the demon realm. So, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that say? If I wanted to kill someone and I couldn't do it myself, I would hire someone to do it. Like, I will not be surprised if they put some sort of bounty on his head. We still don't. His fates, have they been his fate? Is it done? Because he technically died. We haven't gotten that notification about his fates in a while, the 3 fates. So has that been, so his fate was completed? Okay. Yeah, so if he comes back, it would just, they would be coming for him in a different way. They would be coming for him in a different way. Color me interested. That's very interesting. What's up, Comey? Still wondering, was it the Wendy Man's meddling or something else entirely? For what? A constellation. In regards to him being seen by the Starstream, why he was ignored by the Starstream. I want to go. What chapter was that, though? I would like to go back and look at that really quick. What chapter was that? That would have been 1, 2, 3. Was that 4 chapters ago or 5 chapters ago? $225? No. $224. Right here. I just want Dokja to troll the constellations that tried to get her. It's gonna happen. The Starstream glimpses your existence. The Starstream turns a blind eye to your existence. See, that makes me curious, because what I will say, and this is just me making a guess, is, you guys know, the Starstream always confuses me. That's why I don't think about it too much, because going up into the universe and trying to make sense of it, I'm not going to get it. Hopefully the series can walk me through it. But I would go as far as saying Dokja's inclusion in being involved with the Starstream is something that is positive. That people aren't inherently pissed off with like Veda, Papyrus, and Olympus, those 3 nebula, those individuals, right? I would assume that more people than not are more interested in this. So if this Dokja, who's been exiled from the scenarios, somehow just blips up on your radar, I think this would be, isn't this like an interesting like comparison that you could make? Like you were posted somewhere and you're supposed to like take watch over something or monitor something. And for a split second you see something and you can say something, but you choose not to because for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, you choose not to. That's what I feel like this is. I feel like this is if he's still out there, he's doing something. We can't show him, but maybe he could come back. Maybe he could come back. Remember, Dokja is a moneymaker. The streamers want to exploit him like Twitch. Yep, you're right. You are right. Excuse me, partners in Korea. It's something like, that's what I would assume it could be, something like that, where it's just like sitting there watching your monitors. You just see like on one monitor and you're like, I'm gonna let it go. I totally can make a whole scene because of what I just saw. And we could run the tape back. But only I saw it. And I'm gonna choose to let it go. That's what it feels like. It feels like that. To me anyway. It does feel like that. We did not get a time frame on how close we are to dawn. We did not. We just know that we have to outlast the executioner, and I don't know how long we'll be able to do that. I think they went through the effort of showing like Dokja doing something, and like his different stories are kind of like reacting differently. It's like he can't do anything crazy, right? So he can't like throw out some crazy technique because his body will fall apart. He'll probably end up the same way how he was before, cracking and falling apart. So we know that he can't use these big attacks to keep the executioner away. We have a confine that we need to work in, but there's also people that's still stuck in this confine with him. So he's gonna have to play some very good keep away and not let the executioner like catch wind that he's trying to protect the people for real, and hope he don't start trying to cut them down to like put Dokja in a weird situation. And that's one thing I will say. Something I didn't think about. In comparison to the beginning of the series, because it's been so long since I read the beginning of the series, I really didn't think about this until now. Is Dokja as a character, he's still swindling, he's still manipulating, he's still doing all these things, but his character has come a long way. I think that much was apparent the last couple of arcs. Extremely apparent whenever you're going through like his like final moments as the 73rd Demon King, and as everyone's attacking him, they're all joining like that like collage picture, and how he like, you're hearing him explain how he feels about everyone and all this stuff. He's come a long way, because Dokja at the beginning of the series, humans were a tool for him. He didn't really care about people, and I don't know if that was just the mindset that he had, knowing everything that we end up finding out throughout the course of the series up to this point, or if this was just him compartmentalizing the fact and trying to keep this strictly as all of these people around me aren't real people, they're characters, they're not real, and the fourth wall keeping that like space so that he doesn't lose his mind at the fact that this is some crazy stuff that's actually happening. People were just a tool, and people still are a tool. but we've gotten to see his humanity more. He kind of starts off as like this lifeless robot in a sense. He's kind of just, all right, this is not real, he's droning through. It feels like he's droning through and going through. And now that he has these connections, that he cares, that he wants to try to get back to his friends, that he has he feels more alive, he feels more human. It's crazy. It's usually in stories you'll get the opposite of that, where you have like the innocent character that grows into whatever they grow to, like this good guy or this bad guy, whatever. Or you'll have the wet behind the ears character that really doesn't know anything but has like this weird innate strength, a la, and I had to work really hard, but you get what I'm saying. All the characters that fit that archetype, and like Dokja's the opposite, where Dokja was like y'all stay at double arm's length away, and I'll move the chess pieces back here. And as he like grew to like be with them, it changed from this, I'll keep you guys at double arm lengths away, to arm lengths away, to hugging and loving on the kids. Like, he just called them his kiddos. And just all of the different relationships that he has with everyone else. It's just, like, where he's at now, I appreciate it. I really do. Strangely, instead of becoming more attached to the story, he started to associate with it. Tell me more. Explain more. Dokja said one time that his hellish fiction makes more sense than the reality he lived in. Great point. Excuse me. I get what you mean. Instead of him becoming more attached to the story, he started to associate with it. Because the story was all he had. I get you. That and the fact that the fourth wall numbed some of his emotions. That I like nommed. Nommed is not like nommed makes sense too. Nom makes sense too. Nom like it gobbled on his emotions a little bit. I dig it. Yeah, it's a pleasant surprise to be here with Dokja. It's something I didn't really think about until just now. I did not think about any of that until just now. And plus, I need to go back and reread the beginning of the series because I really don't remember a lot of the beginning of the series. I remember the very big, broad strokes of what Omniscient Reader is the first 100 chapters. Very broad strokes. So I want to go back. I got a lot of rereading to do. But this will be a quicker reread than Tower of God, 1000%. So I might end up doing this first, and I'm sitting here thinking about it. I want to reread this one. And plus, knowing what I know now, it would make rereading it a little bit more interesting. If we can't see some more layers. Said a theory of mine earlier. I said it's a joke, but it actually makes sense. What'd you say? I'm trying to remember if I read it, but I don't remember what it could be. It's 12:15. We've been live for exactly an hour. I'm gonna get out of here pretty soon. I want to go to bed. I would like to go to bed. Excuse me.
Imagine that after Dokja takes over the complex. What has happened? Does the voice changer on? I just seen something light up. Imagine that after Dokja takes over the complex, he ends up having shared ownership of the Yacht, because right now he's posing as him. Maybe he's trying to somehow bring Jungyak here. And it's on. I had the voice mod set up in my Steam Deck a little bit, but not too much.
Okay. It's off now, right? Off now? Okay. Okay, let me read this again. Imagine that after Dokja takes over the complex, he ends up having shared ownership of it with Jungyak because right now he's posing as him. Maybe he's trying to somehow bring Jungyak here. No, I don't know. I don't think that was the plan. Because Dokja, and the only thing that I'm hanging my hat on where I don't think that was the plan initially, I think Dokja just has this habit of not wanting to out his real name. And it's a smart thing because there's been plenty of video games, plenty of TV shows, and plenty of movies where characters are in certain situations where they should not use their real name because someone's looking for them or they're known or something, and they use their real name and it gets them jammed up. Like, why would I ever use my real name in the apocalypse? I never would. Especially if I'm going around doing grimy stuff in the apocalypse too. Why would I ever use my real name? So I'm pretty sure this is just a habit of him not using his real name and just throwing out Jungyak's name because Jungyak's the main character. We know how he feels about Jungyak. And Jungyak will be able to handle what would happen, what would be the repercussions of Dokja doing something. Jungyak can handle it. Dokja has said that he's Jungyak more than he says he's Dokja. Yeah. Because he never really proclaims who he is. He always proclaims that he's Jungyak. So it's like one of those things where it's like, Jungyak can handle it. Doesn't matter. Maybe Jungyak gets here to help Dokja of his own. Well, maybe. That's something to point out because whenever he proclaimed to be Jungyak and started doing stuff, Jungyak got the notification. And he instantly thought, he was like, Dokja Kim, because Dokja's the only person that does that. My assumption would be in any regression, in any round that Jungyak has regressed, right now we're only on the third, but any round, he's probably never got a notification like that. Right? He would never, I'm pretty sure he's never got a notification like that. And so far, Dokja has done it so many times that Dokja should be exiled, should be dead. He gets the notification, and the first thing he thinks of is Dokja? No way. It can't be. And so maybe he might go through some lengths to try to help him out. Who knows? I would be mad if my homeboy scammed some people and then declared himself to be me. Yes, I would be mad at that too. I would 100% be mad at that because you didn't get me jammed up. Like, why jam me up? What did I do to get jammed up? Why throw me under the bus? I didn't do that. I would never do that. You did it. So yeah, I would be tight. I would be tight. But we know they have a complicated and weird relationship. They do. They really do. Jungyak can kill him, but then doesn't want him to die. He's grown to really like Dokja. He means a lot, but Dokja does these little things that piss him off. So it feels like a real friendship. They did mention about taking those personal scenarios that could take over the main scenario, so maybe you could use that. I possibly. I do think, depending on who the revolutionary is, because I think my thought last week was we might have already met the revolutionary and they're choosing not to tell us. So whether that be Heyo, whether that be Eileen, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those two. Maybe it's someone that's with Eileen, all the other returnees that had like their council where council where Dokja was like, they didn't have the reaction like they did in TWSA. Those people, and she didn't either. I don't know if I can't say that because this show always loves to throw a monkey wrench in something. I was initially gonna say, we don't know. I was gonna say, like they wouldn't have set this up of him being the self-proclaimed revolutionary. If the real revolutionary dies, then the title of revolutionary would be passed down to Dokja. They didn't also make this clear that if he becomes the revolutionary, does he then by proxy become a citizen as well, or does he still keep the exile title as revolutionary? I don't think that was necessarily clear. They said it, but it wasn't undoubtedly like locked in.